want to. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. You don't gotta do it if you don't want to. It's just a suggestion. Come on.
All right. Well, are you ready for something completely different?
Yes. Yeah. I was kind of afraid of this topic because it was serious, right?
Yeah.
It was just like
So
wasn't as fun.
Let's turn this episode around, or let's start the next episode as we break up the recordings.
Let's do it.
By you're already on me. Okay, so this is not my topic, but this is how we're going to start the topic.
Did I have cats outside again?
No, but they are spraying in your bushes. It smells like cats a little bit. Totally useless websites. I was on 1440 today, and one of their fun little bits towards the bottom of today's article or today's issue was the most pointless websites on the internet. These have been voted on. So out of all the websites on the internet, these are voted on as being the most pointless and useless websites in the internet. And amongst my favorites is pictureofhotdog.com.
Is there a counter at the bottom of?
Not in this one. This is just a picture of a hot dog.
But that web. Okay, I'm going.
No, I'm showing it to you.
That's the website.
That's the website. It's the whole website. Oh wait, no. There's an about section. Let's go to the about section. It's a hot dog.
Oh my.
No, wait. There's testimonials too. I like that hot dog. A guy said that. That's all the testimonials.
Oh, so good.
Oh my. Okay. What else have we got here? Here's the number 3 most pointless website. It's somebody has re-rendered the DVD bouncing logo, so your screen won't go dead when you're when you're using your DVD player. That's pretty good.
A little dated, but I like it.
But that's the whole website. Let's see here. What else have we got?
We're beyond things that could help humanity. We're not utility. Why?
How about instantostrich.com? That's it. It's an ostrich. That's the whole website.
And somebody continues to pay for this domain for...
Yes. Somebody's continued to pay for the domain. Yes.
Wow.
Random goats on here. There's an RGB one where it'll just change the color of the background based on the RG or the B that you hover over. Also, and I'm going to keep this one bookmarked. It is dramabutton.com.
Drama button.
Yes. And it goes like this. That's the whole website.
That takes me back.
Yes. We used that on the video cookbook.
Yes, that's extremely dramatic and influential. It's taking people's emotions to places that they wouldn't ordinarily go.
So here's the actual article. Washington Post, U.S. workers have gotten way less productive. No one is sure why. Couldn't possibly be the website. So, employers across the country are worried that workers are getting less done. And there's evidence there that they are right to be spooked. As early as the first half of 2022, productivity, the measure of how much output in goods and services an employee can produce in an hour, plunged by the sharpest rate on record going back to 1947. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the productivity plunge is perplexing because productivity levels actually went up at the beginning of the pandemic. And people were starting to think that, this hybrid workspace that we were creating was going to see this massive increase in productivity. People's work-life balances were better. They're getting more freedom. But yeah, once the novelty of that wore off, total nosedive. Followed the lemmings right off the cliff. And now it talks about things like quiet quitting and stuff like that, and how productivity is in the shitter. So now I brought this article up because I'm curious about your thoughts on not just workplace productivity, because that's a thing, right? There's ups and downs, but also, are we as a society? And this article gets into stuff like how we have more time to do things because of conveniences now. Like our free time, air quote free time, is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
The average person spends 4 to 6 hours watching TV a day, whereas back in the 60s it was closer to 90 minutes, 2 hours, because we have more time.
46 hours a day?
4 to 6 hours. I can't do anything for 46 hours a day.
No, no, but 4 to 6 hours.
The average person.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm trying to assess if that's me or not. Do I fall in that category?
I didn't have time for that. I couldn't even if I wanted to.
I don't think. Definitely not lately. That's for sure.
No, so, and it talks about how we actually most people don't spend all this extra free time focused on something.
Mm-hmm.
TikTok and Facebook and YouTube, everything's reels now. Everything's short based. We're doing things in spurts. So is society turning us all into a bunch of lazy schmucks? And is technology causing that? That's what I want to get into. This it talks about quiet quitting, and there's a couple of other like workplace concepts. I think that those people are equal parts people who are having to come into work and don't want to, and people who are being allowed to stay home and just can't find the oomph to get up and go to their couch in their PJs and do what their boss wants them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have a real hard time. Like, I don't work from home very often, but I do have the ability to do so. And I find, unless I'm swamped, which happens, if I'm not I don't have just hell of stuff going on, I find productivity at home to be extremely challenging. Like, it's hard. I'm sitting on the same couch that I sit on to play video games. It's very difficult.
Oh, well, that's just habit-based. That's,
But
if you had an office set up and you
Yeah.
would go to your office
Yeah.
and you would structure your time there and you would schedule your breaks and your meals and stuff at home, yeah, you'd be just fine.
Perhaps. But as it is, like last time I did it like 2 weeks ago, and I'm so busy right now that I was up on my computer like 5 a.m. and I didn't stop until like 5 that night. Actually, when the wife came home from work, I was like, okay, just close my laptop, and I stopped.
Sometimes I take sick days at work to just work at home.
Interesting.
I just want to catch up. I can't.
That's awful. So you're the wrong person to ask about being lazy at home.
Those days do happen too. But if I find I am just overwhelmed, if the supervisors and the managers are just saying, we need this now, my profession, my particular job, and the position that I fill is not without distractions. In fact, it has more so than most other professions and jobs. And I mean, if you have to, we're working out today, and I was just saying, oh yeah, last week I was running away from a student who was trying to attack me, and I felt good, so we had a good workout today, and I felt pretty good because I've had some recent practice. Those sorts of things where you have individuals trying to harm you in the confines of your day that's not normal. That doesn't happen. So yes, I need some breathing room, and sometimes I get just enough air at home to make it happen.
Here's a website called whataclick.com that just changes the faces of the smiley faces randomly based on clicking them. That one's sad. That one's happy. Yeah, someone's paying to keep this up here. Yes. So I feel like we can't focus on things. I watched a thing recently where it was talking about I think it was the current two generations, the newer ones.
Mm-hmm.
They did a study and they found that for the cell phones, the average person can only keep off their cell phone for like 3 seconds.
Ooh, I'd want to see that study.
Yeah,
3 seconds.
3 seconds.
So that makes sense because I have families and parents that just expect to have all access pass to me.
Yeah.
Hey, I just texted you 30 seconds ago and I'm here. Can you be right here right now? Can you be here a minute ago before I arrived 30 seconds ago so that I can pick up or drop off my son or daughter? It's sometimes it feels as if they're treating the public school system as a daycare program and they just want to do whatever they want. And for some reason, people that have come before them have allowed that behavior to continue. But I think when you have the technology, yes, it can make you more efficient. It doesn't have to, but it can. My first thought when you rattled all this off was, what metrics were they using in 1947 that are comparable now to indicate whether or not our productivity has gone down or decreased?
It's manufacturing. They're producing a product.
Okay, so you're on a line in a plant
Yeah.
at some sort of place where you're reproducing the same task, you're assembling the same thing, you're putting that into that, and then it goes to the next person and they do the same thing.
Yes.
Over and over and over again. Okay. Well, yes, then that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who wants to do that?
Yeah.
We gave all those jobs overseas anyway.
Yeah, we have not done it enough. But yes, we live a very decadent and easy life here in America, whether anybody wants to think that or not. And yeah, the things that we don't want to be bothered with tasks. We want to enjoy and live our best life and check our cell phones. Maybe not every 3 seconds, but it didn't find ChatGPT didn't find anything like that. But it said that a recent study has found that the average American checks their phone 205 times a day, which is just under every 5 minutes during waking hours.
So when I get my weekly report, I get the average. It tells you how long were you on your phone a day.
Yeah.
And most of that is because I don't ever have my phone auto shut off. I keep mine, and I just forget. I'll set it down. I'll walk away. My screen's on, and
It says you use your phone 12 hours a day.
yes, I'm like, I don't think it was I? Oh, my pocket's getting hot. Why is it getting hot? Oh, my screen's still on. I'll have to turn it off, or I'll fall asleep and it's still on, or this or that. If I really want to get work done, if I really want to learn something, I'm here. And I try to. So you're probably right. I'm an outlier. I try not to get distracted. Although, actually, this is good. This just happened.
Okay. Tell me the story.
Yes. So, okay. Can I show you something first? Let me show you something.
I did find that I had to stop playing games on my cell phone because it was keeping me kind of tied to it. So yeah, I can, and it's easy distraction because you have it right here next to you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're doing something on the computer, and then just like it's an easy thing to just grab your phone. Mm-hmm. So like if I'm really serious about something, especially when I'm writing or trying to focus on something, I will actually put my phone out of my reach because it's become so comfortably easy for me to grab it and look at it.
Yeah, it's just far too easy. So I think I've showed you this guy before. Let's turn on the volume.
Now my hand was kind of hovering on the delete button. My hand was kind of hovering up Solomon.
Hold on. Let's go.
Dutch. I have an interesting.
So let me set this up. So basically, this guy has fun with spam emails and texts.
Yeah.
And
Which you like to do too.
Well-
I can't be bothered.
after I saw this guy, I was like, you know what?
I'm gonna do that too.
I'm gonna try it. So here, the lens I'm looking at this all through is people are trying to scam other people, and I know I'm not a victim, and I won't be.
No.
And so let me consume their time so they don't hassle my grandfather or grandmother or somebody else's great aunt or somebody who's disabled in some way and has an intellectual disability. Just like, oh yeah,
So you're doing God's work by engaging with these overseas spam email scam artists.
yes.
It went like this. It said, hello, James Veach. I have an interesting business proposal I want to share with you, Solomon. Now, my hand was kind of hovering on the delete button, right? Actually, while I was looking at my phone, I thought I could just delete this. Or I could do what I think we've all always wanted to do. And I said, Solomon, your email intrigues me.
It's a great start.
And the game was afoot. He said, Dear James Veach, we shall be shipping gold to you. You will earn 10% of any gold you distribute.
What?
So I knew I was dealing with a professional. I said, how much is it worth? He said, we will start with a smaller quantity. I was like, and then he said, of 25 kilograms.
Jesus, 50 pounds of gold.
The worth should be about 2.5 million. I said, Solomon, if we're going to do it, let's go big.
So he goes on and it goes on, and he's excellent, and
Let's go big.
and his rise to he's a comedian already, and comedians, their minds, they're built different to be funny and to find aspects in life that are beyond what others are able to see, and to bring humor. That's what he does. But the concept there was real. So anyway, I was distracted. Oh, I can't. Actually, I could probably. Hold on. Let me see here. Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Are you looking for text messages where you're fucking with somebody now?
Some of these out. All right, so I'm just gonna scroll right here.
I'm glad you're editing this episode.
This person, which is definitely not a real person.
So it's real to me.
So it starts out, you may be busy, but don't forget to take good care of yourself.
That's how it begins.
That's how it begins. So I said, thank you so much. I won't. You do the same. And then it went on. Thank you. You too. How have you been doing lately? Hello. Did you get busy? Because there was a little time that had passed. And I was like, I've been amazing. Yes, so busy today.
Oh.
She said, even if your day is busy, you need to take good care of yourself, my friend. By the way, do you remember who I am? I said, good advice. I don't remember, but that doesn't matter. The connection is real.
You're so dumb, dude. Oh my God, that's hella dumb.
And then it goes on. It's me, Adelia. Do you remember? We met at a business party in LA last month and exchanged numbers. I've attached a photo to help jog your memory. Sorry, I know I was down there for business. And yes, there was a party, but there were also a lot of free drinks. So, 70 messages later.
Oh, Jesus H. Christ, bro.
So distractions are real.
Yes.
Just to illustrate, yes, I don't just get distracted with a bunch of social media where I'm just mindlessly scrolling through whatever's happening. I'm not checking status updates or likes or requests or this or that. But occasionally, in fact, I shared this to one of my staff members, and she was just like, you're supposed to be working.
Right.
And it didn't take much time. I mean, a lot of that happened in the downtime, lunch, or you're waiting for just a reply for something. It wasn't like I was putting this. A lot of it was just like, oh yeah, me too, or this or that. 70 messages sounds like a lot, but it's not 70 paragraphs. I'm not writing a dissertation trying to keep this interaction alive. And sometimes the time in between where you just like, you leave them, you just give them a carrot and you let them see it, you let them smell it, and then the next message comes.
Did you ever get into what they were trying to achieve with you?
Oh yeah, so Grok and AI are good for this. So finally, because this is not my first rodeo, and all of them send enticing pictures of females from Asia, somewhere, and they all try to get you onto WhatsApp or Signal or some sort of encrypted messaging service. And there's a few reasons for that I've recently learned. One, it's less expensive because they don't have to have a service provider, a carrier, to, especially if they're not in the country, right? They're somewhere else and they're paying for each message, for each text, if it's not all encapsulated in one family plan, whatever plan that is where it's unlimited, which many cases, I don't know, service providers or plans are overseas, but it's not necessarily what we experience here. So it's more expensive over there, especially for international text. Second to that, when you have a real number, somebody needs to sign up for that real number. That real number is attached to a person and a name, and that can be traced. So they start with a real number to get you onto something that's not real, so that if they're able to rob me blind and empty my bank accounts, then I have no recourse because...
Can't track it.
Correct. So, yeah. And this person is most likely not the person that's there, right? It's
too bad because she was very lovely from her photo.
Yeah. She showed me dinner. She was cooking. She was making shrimp salad. We talked about. Yeah, there she is, right there.
Oh, that's so.
And I got the results here. Here we go.
Yep,
she's enjoying herself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. But
on and on and on, and then the final point about getting you off of this, your actual phone, is it's easier to set up bots on WhatsApp, and then they use AI to automate the whole thing, and then they can have I don't know how many, I don't know if there is a limit of all of these potential victims that they're communicating with, and it's just automated. So, but no, I need an actual person to be taking care of me, right? Yeah. And I can't be bothered with WhatsApp.
So, what you're saying is,
it's a great distraction. Yes, checking your phone every 3 seconds.
But more to the point, you discovered that this person was not real.
I knew they weren't real. They follow the same script.
Sorry, that was a pretty lazy setup.
I'll have to let you read this whole thing.
I don't wanna. I ain't got time for that shit.
It's pretty good.
So if we're not being productive, and we're not engaging in bot scams to the tune of 70 messages back and forth, what are we doing that is causing us to become so inefficient? Is it the cell phone? Do you think the cell phone is the big cause, the big driver? I mean, my wife, her evening routine is to come home, futz with the cats, do some of this and that. I make dinner, and then she just kind of stays on the Reddits until it's bedtime.
Okay.
And but the Reddit isn't like one thing. She just bounces around all higgly piggly.
But she's already been to work.
Yes, she's been to work. But so how do I say this a little different, especially so I don't get in trouble at home? Is the mentality of of the way that we treat our off time bleeding into the way that we treat our work hours? Do we find it easier to procrastinate, not engage properly, be underproductive, and generally kind of sleep on the job because of the way that we no longer need to come home and be productive? I mean, you have to come home and cook meals for you have children and stuff. We have automatic feeders for the cats.
Yes. So yeah, it's a balance. So this week I went to our oldest plays the drums or percussions, basically anything percussion. Has for a while. He beats on everything, drumsticks, spinning stuff, like does it all. And I commended him for one of the pieces. He asked me which one was my favorite. I told him it was second to last because he had the most drum work. He was working the hi-hat and the snare, and he was incredibly consistent. He was like a metronome. He didn't speed up, he didn't slow down, and everybody was basing what they were doing after him. And I let him know, having experience and having played with a lesser quality drummer who just and then everyone else is trying to figure out where they're going. So when they start to speed up, they speed up, and then they think they're going to speed up again. So they kind of anticipate them speeding up, and then they speed up, and then that causes the drummer to speed up, and the reverse can happen too. It was like, no, you were consistent. You were right where you needed to be. I think I like that analogy when it comes to the workplace, because if you see the people you're working with and you have everyone's kind of steadily climbing together, then that tends to what happen. That it tends to be that way within that group. However, if you got one person who's just they're just leaving everyone, and everyone thinks like, well, no, I can't catch up, so why try? They're gone. They're dropping us. Or, hey, we're all going to stay here. Everybody, you, we agree. We don't talk about it. It goes unsaid, but we're all going to do this. And no one's the outlier. No one's too fast. No one's too slow. No one's the overachiever. No one's the underachiever. We're average. Let's all be average based on what we produce here. That will happen if there's no incentive.
So I agree. And I like that. I like how you presented it, because I'm over here lost in thought, because this is like my life right now. This is work. It is, because the guys have decided a pace that isn't necessarily balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And it does go unsaid, but it still happens. And I try to bring them up together through incentives and stuff, mostly monetary, because there's no real promotion opportunities. But they've just decided this is where they're going to be, and I get it, because we're not succeeding, but our productivity isn't as high as it could be. So what you're saying is we've got a situation where we've got herd mentality, and if you've got a herd that is all on the same page about go, 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 then productivity is higher than if you have, all it takes is one person to kind of drag everybody back to, what do you guys go? Come back here, meet me in the middle, or 3/4,
That could be the case. You had mentioned at work, you kind of started this, I don't know.
The bounty board.
Yeah, almost like its own little token economy.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, it's like an adventure game bounty board. Totally.
Okay, and are there rewards or prizes? Because I was thinking if it was, hey, you finished that, or you were the first to whatever it is. Okay, I don't know if you're even permitted to do this working for the government agency that you are. Yeah. Could there be, you finished first, $5 Starbucks card, or here's $10 to Bevmo, or it seems minuscule, but even going back working with children, right? If you work with little kids, right, here's a gold sticker. And it's something so insignificant, but it's the recognition that goes with it that promotes the behavior.
So I tried that a little bit earlier. Like the predecessor to what I do now was we have a giant whiteboard, and I would actually put like programming puzzles on the whiteboard tied to the adventures of a stick figure princess. You'd have to fix some program elements to press buttons on the theoretical buttons and stuff.
And they didn't like it.
Well, and then I would, and then you solved it, and then I was giving away like boxes of chocolate and stuff, and it was okay. I mean, they didn't really. You
have to figure out what they want.
Yeah, and so, I did very briefly try to like have like once a week I'd put a $5 bill, like tape it to the thing, and then I would ask a question. And whoever could solve the puzzle or answer the question would, the first person would get the money.
I mean, could a prize be, hey, you get to whatever it is, and you get to leave an hour early on?
I cannot do that at all.
Or,
but so what I'm doing now is I've developed a point.
$15 an In-N-Out burger.
Yeah, no. So what I'm doing now, I've developed a point structure for basically doing our job, which that's fine. And the incentive is the increase in, basically you're doing the most. And so when our supervisor asks, who are your top performers every quarter, this guy's doing the most. And and with the way that where I work handles the incentivizing for monetary gain based on performance, that's significant. And so that has actually been fairly successful.
Okay.
But after an initial jump, I mean, they're still doing the work and they're still doing it, but they're not attacking it like they were initially. They've figured out pretty quick that they just didn't want to work at that rate.
Okay. Well, yeah. Basically, behavior has been the same since the beginning of time. And if you want to stifle or dissolve or eliminate behavior, there's negative consequences. And if you want to, basically punishments, and if you want to encourage certain behavior, you have to have the positive consequences. You need to have some sort of positive reinforcement, the incentives. Because if you hey, no, don't do that, I'm going to fine you $100. Well, the only thing you're doing is preventing them from doing that one thing again. But if you encourage somebody to do something, that they could generalize that and go, oh, I did this and there was this positive consequence, there was this reinforcement. Maybe if I do this, I'll get something similar. Or maybe if I do this, and I'll get something the same. So you might find, or one might find, that there's an exponentially, that progress, takes off.
Are we going to get diminishing returns on?
Yeah, you would.
By incentivizing in that way, giving people little carrots that happen perpetually quicker and quicker. You
would. So yes, there would be, the law of diminishing returns would apply. So you'd have to figure out where that is, and that'd be different, per group, per team, and even down to the individual level too. So you want to find out where that sweet spot is and just kind of hang out there. Most rewards are best when their interval is not predictable, right? Think about the things that are most meaningful to you. If you walk to your car and all of a sudden somebody walks up to you, while you're walking back to your car from the grocery store and said, hey, that parking there, that was amazing. And they gave you $100, right? You'd probably take that, put that in the back of your mind and go, the next store you went to, that the last, you just experienced that. somebody paid you $100 to park well. Okay, all right, I'm going to park. I'm going to do my best. Go a few times. Somebody else rewards you for parking well, but it's not. There's no pattern to it, and that typically increases the proficiency.
So that's the rule of law, but in reverse, because you never know when the police are going to pop you for burning up and down that hill too fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but that only works up to a point, and I do think that we're getting diminishing returns.
It might not work with who you have.
No.
And you're talking about efficiency, and are we too distracted? Are these devices getting in the way? And the answer is yes, because every single year we have more websites, we have more apps, we have more technology, we can fit more on our screens that we carry around with us all the time. And yes, there are just more distractions. Every year, people know more people than they did last year, which kind of reminds me of a Drake song. Can I play it?
Huh? What?
A Drake song. I know it's your favorite.
No, you can't because.
Yeah, I know.
I went through that when we did that once. No, never again. So many websites. Speaking of, here's a website called IamAwesome.com, and you click on it, and that's the whole website. It just says. It's true.
It's a waste of my
It's
time.
true.
It's a waste of my time.